It must be Friday, right? In this case, it's May 12th, and interesting week in the sense that I started working on a pretty big project, and just the way that the week kind of worked itself out, which is always interesting. The more you want something, the less you're going to get. So expect nothing and you will get stuff. That's the way I always approach things. I started off the week, again, driving around, and I was going by Marion, and the Barton's Boatyard has like a huge hangar. And this is where they house all the masts for the sailboats that call the Barton's Boatyard home during the winter. And it's still filled with masts, but that's not what was cool about it. There was like a little gap, which is the door on the opposite end of the thing. And I just sat there, and then I saw it, and you could see a piece of the sailboat, and this gentleman walked by. And it was kind of cool because it's almost like the doors to the season are opening. So hopefully the weather will eventually change, and maybe we'll all get back to the water. But there is a cool sense of the scale of the hangar relative to the size of the figure, but also these lights bring you down into the subject. So then this is actually on Wednesday. I went to the Joseph Abboud manufacturing plant in the north end of New Bedford, and it turns out they make all of their high-end suits in New Bedford. All of the ones that they made for the United States market and for the Japanese market, they make them all in New Bedford. And it was so I spent some time just documenting what the process is like, and it's really incredibly interesting. I mean, some of their biggest clients include, like for instance, all the coaches of the NBA. They all wear Joseph Abboud suits. Various television stations and networks also use the Joseph Abboud suits. And it's cool to think that a town like New Bedford that has gone through such a metamorphosis throughout the years, at one point it was a mill town, and this was between the whaling period and the fishing period. There was a huge textile, not only here but in Fall River as well. And it's cool to see that Joseph Abboud has taken advantage of the like these stitchers. A lot of them are Portuguese, which I find rather cool. And they're working, and it's cool to know that there's such a high quality item still being handmade in this country. So spent some time there, always looking for interesting ways of capturing what it is that I see. And I'd been there before, but the plant has gotten quite a bit bigger. That means business is good, obviously. But to me, it's always about the people, the interaction with their environment, and that's what makes the interesting photographs. And the only way to do that is to explore and spend some time there. And it's funny, when I went there, I really didn't know how big the project was going to be. But you always have to leave an open mind. Don't go in there thinking, okay, I'm going to shoot 2 pictures of the CEO and I'm going to bail. That's not what's interesting, really. What's interesting is the regular person who's down there doing his stuff. Today, actually, another interesting event. What a lot of people might not know is New Bedford actually had, we had Frederick Douglass, who lived in New Bedford for a while, and he was a slave at one point, and from Maryland he escaped with the help of the Johnson family, I believe. And then he ended up living in New Bedford, and he was really vocal about slavery, and this is actually the home where he lived. Now across the street, there was an official announcement of what's going to be called, what is it going to be called? Abolition Row. That's what it's going to be called. And I could have just gone there, and I could have just photographed the crowd and basically an empty lot. But what I'm always looking for is how to tie whatever it is that I'm there for with a historical context. And in this case, the Polly Johnson home, where Frederick Douglass lived, is actually directly across the street. So why not find my way inside the home, and in this case the second floor, and shoot it? And ironically, there are photos of what it looks like now and what New Bedford used to look like back then when Frederick Douglass was in town. So again, sometimes it's not good enough just to get like basically a press conference. And then, well, driving around some more, and we are really, up here in the Northeast, we're really just hoping that the weather eventually cooperates. and we can enjoy the beach. And what I noticed was they've already put the lifeguard chairs stations at the beach. And guess what? There was also a ferry coming into town, which, by the way, this is actually Block Island, so they come and repair it just before the season starts. They go over the whole thing at Fairhaven Shipyard. So I framed it in a way that kind of brings, lets people know that we're almost there. We're almost there. We almost got great weather. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.